10:50 on Sunday, May 11th, here in the United States. It was Mother's Day, which is always an interesting day for us, being that Huntington gets, like Sarah drove into Huntington about two or three times today in the course of the day to pick things up or get things. And it was mad, just people walking the street, tons of people out. But what has really shifted is that years ago I used to get a lot of dads in with kids taking the day off, like taking the kids away from mom or whatever. I've gotten a lot less of that. And I also used to get a lot of multi-generational families. I get a decent number still, but I used to get a lot more. And that's just changed. I never know how much it's changed. It's very interesting is that people who generally shop in Huntington on like a Sunday, who Huntington is their hangout place on a Sunday, are around less on big restaurant days, big days like Mother's Day, St. Patrick's Day, all those things. They are not around because they know the town is going to be filled with those sorts of people, so they don't come. So we actually always have to worry about that balance of how many actual customers are going to come in versus how many people who are just in town anyway browsing around. In interesting news, our neighbors, the Happy Hunting people, were open today with a soft opening, a surprise opening, maybe because they knew it was going to be a busy day in town with it being Mother's Day or whatever. Um, so they were open, which I don't know if that was good for our business or bad for business, but we definitely had a lot of browsers. We definitely had good results from the signs the way they've been set up so far, and I think we're going to have even more good results from more signs. But it was a very long day. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep with Margot being sick. I I rested a lot on the Sabbath, but that meant that I couldn't sleep very well last night. And then Margot and Leif both not feeling well. Meant that I went in today fine. I was good, but I flagged much earlier than usual. Usually it's around 6 o'clock on a Sunday that I'm starting to feel drained. This was more like 4:30 or so that I started to really be like, I cannot focus on anything. I'm just going to sit here and let the browsers browse and ask me any questions they have. I'm not even going to like go chase them down and show them things, which of course I did end up chasing them down and showing them things a little bit, but mostly I let people stick around. The main thing that I wanted to do today was work on more signs. I did my regular Sunday ordering. Like I said, we had a lot of browsers, a lot of people, a lot of questions that I had to answer. But I didn't do too much. I put like two or three new signs up when I'd really like to put like five or six up every day for the next couple weeks. But we'll get there. It's little by little. I sat down here to do a live stream and realized I don't have a lot of big things to talk about. A lot of the stuff about Mother's Day and how it's changed in our neighborhood, I feel, wasn't necessarily true this year. A lot of what I went on Blue Sky and I said, we don't have this, we don't have that. We had a lot of that this year compared to previous years. So I don't want to say that. I'll say we have definitely a lot of people interested in the idea of single issues and then not really glomming on to how that works. I had a dad in with his son. His son wanted um, to get into Spider-Man, collecting it, getting it as and dad's like, yeah, I have tons of '70s and '80s comics, and he's read them, he's got them, and he wants to have his own. And I said, okay, you can get him Amazing Spider-Man #1, but like it's not. It comes out every 2 weeks. It's very focused on Peter Parker's like career and stuff. I said, so then when he was checking out, he ended up having. We showed him a lot of stuff. They looked around for a while. Um, he ended up grabbing the Amazing Spider-Man #1, and I said, look, when I was a kid, half the storylines were about Peter's marriage and his rent and his career, and I liked it. There was action also. He goes, and there's action in this too, right? I said, yeah, there's a lot of action, but there's also a lot of adult stuff. So you never know, because if you like it, we'll get you the rest of the issues. We can get it for you, but you have to let us know. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit of a headache here. I think, like I said, it's just been a very long day. So I'm going to head out. Tomorrow we got a big delivery coming of new DC issues, new Marvel issues, both big weeks, as well as hopefully a bunch of stuff from Hachette and IPS and a few other distributors, which is coming out in the next week or two, which very often come early. So it's going to be a busy day. And again, I have at least two sick kids. I don't know how sick they are, but some level of sick. So Should be an interesting night and a fun day tomorrow. I will check in then. Hopefully, I won't do another late night one tomorrow. I will do a normal in the shop. We can look at some of the new signs I made. Even Joe, Emily, a few people have little magnetic things on the lockers now where I keep their holds because they get chunky holds. So maybe I'll show those off. Until then, remember, damn it, babies, you gotta be kind.